Hello and welcome to Engines of Time. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more exciting and informative car stories. Now let's dive right into today's video. The engine that cheated death. The Gurney-Weslake story. Imagine this. Le Mans, 1969. Jackie Ickx, buckled tight in his Gulf-liveried GT40, is chasing down a Porsche at over 220 miles per hour. The engine is screaming. Not a Detroit 5.8, but something forged in secrecy. An engine so powerful, so unbreakable, they whispered it cheated death. This is the story of the Gurney-Weslake 5.8, the weapon that rewrote endurance racing, conquered Ferrari and Porsche, and left behind a legacy wrapped in myth, brilliance, and danger. The spark. The mid-1960s were a battlefield. Ford had declared total war on Ferrari after Enzo Ferrari humiliated Henry Ford II in failed negotiations. The result was the Ford GT40, a brutal 7-liter monster that finally crushed Ferrari at Le Mans in 1966 and 1967. But there was a problem. In 1968, new FIA rules capped engines at 5.0 liters. Overnight, Ford's big block hammer was useless. Enter Dan Gurney. Not just a driver, but a thinker. Calm, tall, and sharp, he believed brute force was not enough. Le Mans wasn't drag racing. It was about efficiency, endurance, and precision. So he began sketching something radical. Alloy cylinder heads instead of heavy cast iron. 9-degree intake ports instead of Ford's crude 20 degrees. Heart-shaped combustion chambers for maximum efficiency. This wasn't an upgrade. It was a revolution. The forge. But who could build it? Gurney crossed the Atlantic to Rye, England, home of legendary airflow engineer Harry Weslake, the man behind BRM and Van Wall engines. Together they formed an unlikely alliance. Gurney brought the instinct of a racer, Weslake the geometry of airflow. The result? The Gurney-Weslake 5.8. Fact, Harry Weslake was so obsessed with airflow that he once tested cylinder heads with kerosene mist just to visualize fuel atomization. His secret weapon? Wet flow testing, decades ahead of its time. The first prototypes, cast in alloy, were beautiful but fragile. Mechanics cursed them as porcelain princesses. Half the heads arriving in California were scrap. Yet when they worked, they produced power like no Ford V8 ever had. The evolution. Mark the Run, 1965. Rough, unreliable, but promising. Mark II, better cooling, stronger castings, still fragile. Mark III, easier maintenance, critical for endurance pit stops. Mark V, 1967, the breakthrough. Narrower rocker covers, inclined carburetors, lighter alloy. Paired with Ford's 302 block, it unleashed 425 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. From just 5 liters. Did you know? At a time when most 5-liter engines barely reached 380 horsepower, the Gurney-Weslake's 425 horsepower was considered almost sorcery. The Predator is born. By late 1967, the engine howled at Riverside Raceway. The sound wasn't a roar. It was sharper, cleaner, almost metallic. Like a war cry. Fans swore they felt it in their bones. The real test came at Le Mans, 1968. JW Automotive, backed by Gulf Oil's iconic blue and orange colors, dropped the Gurney-Weslake into an older GT40 chassis, P1075. Outdated on paper, but perfectly suited to the new 5.0-liter rules. When the race began, the Gulf GT40s ran like scalpels. Smooth, efficient, relentless. Pedro Rodriguez and Lucien Bianchi drove P1075 to victory. Ford had beaten Ferrari again, this time without brute force, but with surgical precision. 1969, the last stand. If 1968 proved the Gurney-Weslake's brilliance, 1969 made it a legend. Jackie Ickx protested the dangerous Le Mans start by walking to his car, buckling in properly and starting dead last. By the final lap, he was dueling Hans Hermann's Porsche 908 for the lead. Into the last corner, Ickx braked impossibly late. The GT40's tires screamed. The Gurney-Weslake roared, victory by just 120 meters. It was the GT40's final triumph. The same chassis, P1075, had won back-to-back Le Mans, something never done before. Fact: mechanics called the Gurney-Weslake heads Ming vases. One wrong torque, and they cracked. But when tuned right, they could run 24 hours at full song without failure. The fade-butt legends don't last forever. By 1970, the Porsche 917 had arrived. Faster, more powerful, unstoppable. Ford pulled out of endurance racing, and the Gurney-Weslake became a relic. Its heads were fragile, expensive, and too advanced for mass production. A few survived, tucked away in workshops or collectors' hands. Today, they're treated like holy artifacts of motorsport. The myth rumors still swirl. Some say Gurney designed a secret Mark VI head, even more advanced, but the blueprints vanished. Others whisper about private builders recreating the engine with modern alloys and CNC machining. Engines so savage they set off car alarms just by firing up. No one can confirm, but no one can deny. The legacy? The Gurney-Weslake wasn't the most powerful engine of its era. It wasn't the most reliable either, but it was the right weapon at the right moment. It gave us 1,075 pesos, the only chassis to win Le Mans twice. It gave us legendary drivers, Rodriguez, Bianchi, Ickx, Oliver, and it gave us a sound, sharp, metallic, relentless, that old fans swear still echoes across the Mulsanne Strait. It was a handshake across the Atlantic, American muscle fused with British precision, a machine that cheated death, if only for 2 glorious years, and maybe, just maybe, its final chapter hasn't been written. This is Kurum from Engines of Time. Catch you next time. And if you like this video, please subscribe,